all ready for plywood. Our floor joists are in place. Everything's ready to go. So let's look at the plans and find out what we need to have on our floor. This is a zoomed up detail here, enlarged to detail, where you can see what we're going to use. It says we're going to have 3/4 inch TNG OSB on our subfloor. That's 3/4 of an inch thick. Plywood is 4 feet by 8 feet. It's going to be TNG, meaning tongue and groove on the sides where they comes together. And then OSB means it's oriented strand board. We call it plywood, but it's actually an engineered wood product. So let's make this piece of plywood. We go to our rectangle tool and we draw a rectangle. And we're going to make that rectangle 8 feet by 4 feet. So it's 8 feet by 4 feet. And then I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to give it some depth. I know it needs to be, excuse me, it needs to be 3/4 of an inch thick. And there I have my sheet of plywood, 4 by 8, 3/4 of an inch thick. I'm going to select the plywood, right click on it and make it a group. At this point, I could tag it as a floor, but I already have a floor that I previously did here, so I won't tag it at this point, but you should tag it and call it like floor plywood or something like that. And then I'll go ahead and color it. I'm just going to use the regular wood color. And now I've got my sheet of plywood. I'm going to move it so that it's a little closer to the house. Okay, so it's easier to get to. So there's my sheet of plywood down there. Now I'm ready to put it on the house. So what I'm going to do is right click and copy, and then right click out here and paste, and that will give me another sheet. That way I always have my original sheet in case something goes wrong with this one. So I put it up here so it's on top of the joist. Just set it anywhere for now. And then I come back and I'll select on the end, on the corner here, and I'll move it to the corner of the house. Okay. Now this is a good time to double check and make sure I hit it right. I didn't. So I'm going to select it again and move it out to the corner of the house. There we go. Now I see that I actually have it sitting where it's supposed to be. And I can check the layout of my joist and make sure that this ends right in the center of a joist. And it does. That looks great. Now I'm ready to put a second piece on here. Now the next piece is only going to be a half of a sheet because we want it to stagger, want the pattern to stagger. So I'm going to copy again, right click and copy and bring a sheet out. And I'm going to set it right here. And I'm going to come around the back side and I'm going to select this bottom corner here. And I'm going to move it over and put it on the third joist, right in the center of the joist. Okay, right there. So I've got it on the third joist right in the center. That's halfway along that sheet of plywood. And now I can come over here because it's a group. I can double click on it and push pull, and I can select that face and I can move it back and cut it back to the edge of the LSL or the edge of the floor. Now I've got my first 2 sheets of plywood in. I can right click and paste, and I bring another sheet in. Okay, I click over here somewhere. I can zoom in, select that lower corner, and put it right into place. There's my next sheet. I'll right click and paste, bring the next sheet in, zoom in, select that corner, set it right in place. Okay, then I can right click, paste, bring another sheet in. Now this one I'm going to have to select this other corner because that's where I have a sheet already that I can make sure it sits right up against. And I can bring it in and paste it right there. Okay, now you notice I'm following a stair-step kind of pattern. I start here on the back wall and I put the sheet. This is how you would do it in the field. Okay, and normally in the field, this plywood would have a note on it that says to leave a 1/8 inch gap between the sheets. We're not going to do this on this model, but in full scale real life, you would do that. Also, you notice there is no tongue and groove pattern on this plywood. It's just a straight edge. We don't need that kind of detail in this class, but if you'd like to put a tongue and groove on one end and a tongue on the other side, you're welcome to do that.